I'm Amy, this is the Opinionated Woman, and today I'm going to be finally telling my coming out story. I don't know why I'm nervous. I feel nervous even though this is not a revelation. As you guys already know if you watch my channel, this here is a queer. But I really enjoy watching these videos. It's Pride Month. I feel like it is a rite of passage as someone as someone who makes queer content or who wants to make queer content on the internet, to talk about my coming out story. And also watching a lot of these videos for myself when I was coming out, I was going to say when I was a gaby, I'm still a gaby, really helped me. So you know what, I'm here to share. So as some of you might know, I came out a lot later in life than a lot of people. So we need to first start off with the backstory. So I went to a Catholic all-girls school for 13 years. Yeah, that's that school was heteronormative to the nth degree, let me tell you. I always found girls pretty damn terrifying, not gonna lie. When I first joined the school when I was 6 in pre-grade, I used to, instead of going out for break time, I used to sit inside and do puzzles because the girls scared me so much. And I chalked that up, that and being able to talk to guys more than girls, like more easily, I chalked that up to me having a brother. Spoiler alert, that wasn't the reason. That environment was incredibly heteronormative. There was no hint of people being gay, no mentions of girls being gay. I mean, at my brother's school, which was our brother's school, also Catholic, all boys, you know, they'd always be like, oh god, that guy's so gay, you know, that kind of bullshit. But at my school, wasn't even mentioned. What is a lesbian? Who is she? All of that kind of shit. And from a very young age, I was boy crazy because I had no queer representation around me. I didn't know anybody that I knew of that was gay. I hadn't been exposed to anybody being queer. I had no idea, absolutely no idea. And because of compulsory heterosexuality, I'm going to be doing a blog post about that, but as a TLDR, it's basically, if you haven't heard of compet before, it's presuming that heterosexuality is the default, the norm. And I fully was indoctrinated by that because I didn't know there was anything otherwise. I had so many crushes on boys. But now with my adult gay lenses, I know that I was desperately seeking male validation. The guys that I would choose, and yes, I chose my crushes, that is, I think a lot of queer women, I think, have done in their pasts. They were guys that were nice to me. I was just so flabbergasted by a man that was going to be nice to me that I was like, oh my god, take me now. When in actual fact I had feelings of friendship towards them. I wanted them to be my friends. I wasn't actually romantically attracted to them, but it was going to be a couple of decades before I figured that out. So were there warning signs? Yes, there were warning signs. I had the classic gay girl sitting on my lap panic. You know, like a friend would just casually sit in my lap for some reason and you're like, what do I do with my hands? You know, it would make me nervous and I wouldn't know what to do. I'd literally be so stiff at any kind of contact with another girl. I just thought it was because I was socially awkward. Spoiler alert, it was because I was gay. There's a very clear memory that I have of when I was in pre-grade and there were two girls in my class that touched tongues. Like, they made everybody watch as they touched tongues, and I always remembered that. I always remembered these two little girls deciding to touch tongues, and it obviously stuck with me because it intrigued me. I was like, girls can touch tongues? Most of these stories are actually quite funny now, which is hilarious. But the thing that really is a blatant red flag that I just didn't do anything about was that I had two major girl crushes in school. Like, I had other girls that made me nervous and that I had crushes on, and that now I realized I didn't want to be friends with, I wanted to be with. But two very distinctive crushes I had were on two girls in my hockey team. Now these girls have been in my hockey team since grade 8, so since I was 14 years old. And these crushes only sort of appeared like grade 11 matric, which is our final year, grade 12. So when I was like 17, 18, all of a sudden I started seeing these two girls in a completely different light. If they would message me, I would get super duper nervous. If they were in classes with me, I was super psyched. We had to stay over for a hockey tournament because we'd won our league. And I was so excited at the fact that I got to spend all of this time with them. But did I make a move? No. Because I thought it was just a totally normal thing for a straight girl to have a girl crush. Turns out it's not. It's only normal if you're gay. So I think I'm going to do a story time as well about this one instance with another girl that could have saved me dating some really horrendous men, but we'll leave that for another day. So I had these crushes, did nothing about it. I left school. I left all of the girls that I was friends with, most of them, behind because like we didn't really connect. We were in very different places. Our heads were in like a different way of thinking. So I sort of left them behind and got in with this group of guys. And from then on, my choosing crushes carried on as usual. I dated 3 guys within the same friend group because they were convenient, they were there, and I picked them. I distinctly remember picking them. It wasn't a butterflies feeling, it was a, which one should I have a crush on? That one, cool. There was one guy I actually had a crush on that I was gunning for, and I sort of got deflected onto his friend, and then we dated for 10 months. You see how these things don't really add up. So it was at this stage where I was about 19 that I joined a website called Suicide Girls. And Suicide Girls is a nude modeling website for alternative models. So tattoos, piercings, colorful hair, anything that is a form of social suicide. And I spent every free moment on that website looking at naked women. Literally, it would just be set after set after set, and I would save those pictures and I would recommend them all over the place. And I just thought I was super supportive, you know. I was super supportive. I enjoyed the artistry behind it. And I remember distinctly saying to people, well, girls are like, naked women are more attractive than naked women anyway. I thought everybody was like that. They're only like that if they're gay. So I carried on with this website, and only delving into my old diaries did I realize that I had started sort of having a feeling that I might not be straight, that I completely suppressed. So I was in a very, very bad relationship at this time, and I remember being in at a house party, and my friend mentioned something about bisexuals. And I was like, oh, like me. And I just blurted it out. And then I berated myself internally, like being like, you're just looking for attention. You're not bi. Why the hell did you say that? And internalized homophobia. I also wrote in my diary, I wrote that I was loving being on Suicide Girls, and I put in brackets, bi, question mark. And then nothing ever came of it. I didn't explore it. I just got sort of stuck in this horrible abusive relationship that I was in and never really explored anything until years and years later, which is probably where this next part of the story starts. Bisexuality coming out, part 1. So picture this. It's 2019. Yes, it's 2019. I was asleep, happily sleeping, and I had a dream. I'm not kidding. My queerness came to me in a dream. In this dream, I was with a guy who I knew was my partner. And throughout the dream, he morphed into this tall, tattooed girl, and the feelings towards them stayed the same. And then they morphed into this black woman with like big curly hair and she was dancing on the dance floor. I remember looking at her thinking she was magnificent. But the feelings towards that person did not change as their gender changed. So I woke up the next morning and I was like, shit, I might be bisexual. So I ran to my sibling who was next door, who had come out before me. And I told them about it and I was like, I think I might be bi. And they were like, amazing, that's great. So me being super duper lucky, I told everybody. Like, I have no family that I would have to worry about. I would have no friends that I had to worry about. I just told everybody. I was like, guys, guess what? I'm bi. I like called my mom. I'm bi. And so I told just about everybody, including the guy that I was dating. Now, yes, I was dating a guy. I was in a relationship that I saw as being something that I was in it for the long run. I was like, I'm going to marry this man. So this revelation about myself was just sort of that. It was a revelation that I didn't think I was ever going to do something about. I thought it was just something that I got to know about myself, and it was just a good thing to know me better as a person. But I was never going to explore it outside of maybe a threesome, because I was going to be with this guy. And then he unceremoniously dumped my ass. And then I had a breakdown and went to a psych hospital. So yeah, that sort of threw everything for a complete loop. This whole idea of how my life was gonna go, like get married to this guy and spend the rest of my life with him, just went down the drain. And once I came out of my mental funk, I was like, oh shit, maybe now this can be a part of my life that I explore. Maybe I could actually date a woman. So I decided, you know what, let's make the best of a bad situation. I didn't want the breakup or anything like that. Like, once I got out of the hospital, I realized all of the negative things that were in that relationship and why it was a good thing that it had ended. But I was like, you know what, I've never properly dated before. I literally just cherry-picked guys that were around, and why not take this opportunity to date a woman? So I went on dating apps, and I'd never gone on dating apps before, even when I was single, because the thought of men on dating apps terrified me. Red flag, red flag. Did I notice these red flags? No. So yeah, I matched with this girl on Bumble. We went on a date and we started dating, and let me tell you, it was a fucking revelation. I could not believe the difference between being with a man and being with a woman. Like, on an everyday level, on a sexual level, all over the damn place. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is a completely different experience. And while she and I were not, in the end, like really compatible for each other, she taught me so much about me as a person, about me being in a relationship with a woman, about sex with a woman, about the fact that I didn't have to be responsible for my own orgasm. I thought that was a revelation. I was like, wait, I don't have to do anything? Like, I just get to do things to her? Oh my God, not to get too into detail. I think my mom's probably watching this. Sorry, Mom. She doesn't care. Yeah, so that kind of absolutely blew my mind. It really showed how different my life could be. And because this had all happened after I had had a mental breakdown and like a mental reawakening, and I'd come out of that experience with a whole new insight on what I wanted from a relationship, what I deserved in a relationship. I was going into this relationship in the most mature, level-headed way that I had ever done in my life. So that made a massive difference. So when things seemed that they weren't going the right way, instead of me clinging on to this because I desperately didn't want to be alone, I ended it because it wasn't right for either of us. And then I realized after this breakup, like after I'd sort of, you know, like had my period of getting over that relationship and everything like that, I realized that I had absolutely zero interest in dating a man. I went back on dating apps, kept it on women. I did not want to date a man, but I was still calling myself bisexual. Now, I want to make it very clear that even though bisexuality was a transitional phase for me, it is not a transitional phase for everyone. It very, very commonly happens, yes, that we slowly but surely incrementally go, oh, maybe we're interested in women also, and then, oh, actually I'm only interested in women. A lot of people stop at the bisexual, and that is completely valid. I don't want this story to come across as like bi erasure in the slightest, because that shit is not on. And fellow lesbians, if you do that, question yourself, rethink your shit, stop it now. So it was at this period that I started watching a lot of gay YouTubers, and I started watching a lot of gay TikTok compilations. I didn't have TikTok at this point because I was like, I'm a 30-year-old woman. I forgot to mention, when I came out as bi 2019, I was 29. At this stage, after the breakup, I'm 30. And I'm watching all of these TikTok compilations like non-stop, and they were like, I was obsessed. I couldn't stop watching them. They made me feel so happy, and it made me feel weird. It made me feel funny in my tummy, you know? I wonder why. I remember seeing the first TikTok of two brides together, and I was like, this can't be real. There's no way this can be real. It is too good to be true that this is something. So all of these factors together, besides the fact that in the TikTok compilations, I was relating to the gay TikToks more than I was to the bisexual TikToks. Like when people were talking about being stuck between trying to, like, should I date a man, should I date a woman? I wasn't getting that feeling, and I was relating far more to the lesbian TikToks. So I started making myself a list. The list said why I might be gay. I wrote it in the back of my diary, and that should have just been a sign in itself that I needed to make a list of why I might be gay. You know why you might be gay? Because you're making this list. And so as I'm making this list and watching queer TikToks, I'm watching a lot of queer YouTubers that my ex-girlfriend had introduced me to. I discovered Elena Joy. Now, I think I discovered Elena Joy the way a lot of people discovered Elena Joy, through her first video, this one. I'll link it down below. When she and her, when she broke up her, well, she cancelled her wedding because she found out during the pandemic she realized she was gay. Now, this is something that I had battled with a lot when trying to come to terms with the fact that I am a lesbian, is that I kept on trying to invalidate myself because I dated men in the past. I was like, I can't be a lesbian, I've dated men. And that doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything at all. And that is what watching Elena helped me realize. She was engaged to a man and she came out as a lesbian. I was like, well, fuck me. Like, so that was like a revolution to me. I was like, well, if it can happen for her, why can't it happen for me? So I obsessively was taking in her content, watching her old stuff, watching her new stuff. And then she came out with a video about the lesbian master doc. I'll link that down below too. Because goddamn, that is a game changer. It's basically about compulsory heterosexuality, which I mentioned earlier. And in that video, she went through it, and she stuck on one point in particular, which was, you struggle to feel the difference between to tell the difference between a crush and a friendship when it comes to men. And I sat there for a while, as she did. And we both had a moment of, oh shit. That is what I've done my entire life. And it blew my mind. So I was like, you know what? I'm getting this document. I got that document, and I, like the nerd I am, ticked off every single one that applied to me. And I got like a 71% aspects that I ticked off. And I was like, oh my God, like, seriously, like, holy moly, like, why has this taken so long? I immediately sent the video to my mom. I sent that video to my best friend. And the next morning, I came out. Simple as that. I went, I messaged my sibling. I told them about it. And they were like, so you're just a big old gay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just a big old gay. So I just went to all of my family members. I told them, I'm like, yeah, so you know how I said I was bi before? Actually, I'm a lesbian. And everybody was wonderful, like absolutely wonderful. I got not one negative comment, and I am so lucky and so privileged to have the people in my life that I do, where I did not have to worry even the tiniest bit that anybody would reject me, because I know that is not the situation for a lot of people. So to my main family and friends, I actually, you know, called them, or I messaged them, or I sent them a voice note, something like that. But to friends that I didn't see as often, I put this picture. I thought that would be the easiest way. I was like, you know what, this is an easy easy coming out. So yeah, I came out after that, and I have never looked back. I'm here, I'm queer, I'm full of existential fear, as as our guru Dan Howell would say. And I swear I've never felt more free and more happy and more at peace with my identity and with who I am. I struggled for a lot of years not liking who I was on the inside. I've always been very comfortable in myself physically, but not internally. And I think coming out and being diagnosed with bipolar, I've gotten to know myself so much, and I've gotten to accept myself for who I am and love myself for all of those different parts of me. And I am so proud to say that I am a queer woman. I am here and I am queer and I love myself. And I just wanted to say that if any of you are scared of coming out, that's totally okay. Only come out when you are ready and when you're in a situation that is safe for you. I knew that me coming out would have no difference in my life. I mean, to the people in my life, you know, I wasn't going to lose support. I wasn't going to lose my home or anything dramatic like that. But if you are in a safe place and the only thing holding you back is you or your fear, do it, babe. Seriously, just do it. Because my life is so different and so much more positive and fulfilled and enriched as living my life authentically as a queer woman, and I could not be happier. So yeah, that's all I wanted to come and say. Happy Pride Month. If any of you are also a late bloomer lesbian that came out during the pandemic, tell me down below. If you guys have your own fun coming out stories, tell me down below. Link me to your videos. I love watching this kind of thing. Stay tuned for a lot more gay shit coming this month for the whole of Pride, because this is my first fully out and proud Pride. So I am taking full advantage of it. So yeah, happy Pride Month, and I'll check you next time.